Hi, how's your dog doing? Linus can't decide whether to learn Hindi or Urdu, even though they're the same language, linguistically speaking, and gives up. Marcus Aurelius, on the other hand, is able to make up his mind easily through his clear and lucid thinking, rationality, and an understanding of himself. So I remember that I used to kind of get confused or really caught up in what language to learn based on a lot of factors and values that I held at the time, which were not always ones that I created myself. Sometimes they were imposed on me by other people. This led to me being rather indecisive and really wasting a lot of time when it came to language learning. Now, I must mention that there's going to kind of be a companion video with this, like kind of a part 2, but not really. It's just going to be like how to find something, like the why behind it. So there you go. So this video will explain why you might have this kind of trouble. So based on the fact that I have become better at this, I can kind of explain to you why you might be feeling this way. So what I think the issue is that many people have kind of been conditioned or brought up in a way that could make them more indecisive. Like, I'm admitting that this happened to me as well. I have kind of always had a tough time making decisions. I think this does come from a lot of factors. Of course, one could kind of be maybe like your upbringing, but I'm not going to really get into that because that's really specific. Like maybe if decisions were kind of made for you when you were younger, maybe that could play a factor. But there actually are other ones that I think that are probably more general and also more important to address as well. So I think that kind of with the world that we live in, essentially clear thinking and having good perspectives and good views on things has not been eliminated, but it's been made a lot harder because, for example, we are, as you can see, you're on a social media platform. It depends on how much you count YouTube as social media, but we are in a very stimulated world with constant things everywhere, constant distractions just popping up, getting in our way, kind of blocking our ability to think clearly. So I'm not going to say like get away from all technology, but what I do think is really important is that essentially we can develop clear thinking and to formulate good perspectives to make such decisions. And this will obviously not just apply to language learning, this will also apply to the rest of your life. So I think it'll be a very beneficial thing for you to do anyway, even if you're not planning on learning any languages or you give up on it or something like that. So the first and most important thing I must mention is meditation. Now, I have a whole video about meditation, so if you really want to check that out and how it works and how I think you should do it, I think you should check that out. But essentially, to kind of capture it in a nutshell, or essentially to capture the main point as to why I'm bringing up meditation here, is because meditation allows you to think more clearly. The problem with this is that a lot of people think that meditation will get rid of your thoughts, which is not what it does at all. That's not what meditation does. You can meditate for decades, and that will not happen. You'll find plenty of people who have meditated for decades, and they're not free of their thoughts completely. They're not. So what does meditation actually do? What meditation really does is it essentially, once you've been meditating for a while, it essentially helps you realize when you've been thinking or having thoughts that are not helpful at the moment or they're not conducive to anything that you're working on or something like that. So I'm meditating very consistently. By very consistently, I mean like 7 months straight, every single day. Like I can even took a screenshot of it right now. I can even show you how long I've been meditating for. Like I've been meditating for over 7 months, coming up on 8 months straight. I'm actually really proud of that. That's pretty cool. I've been meditating for so long. At least that feels really good. Wait, 8 months? Yeah, it is coming up on 8 months. That's right. Oh my gosh. Okay, so anyway, my point is that as someone who has meditated for over 8 months, and I will admit I still have a lot to work on, but my focus and my ability to realize when I'm having thoughts that are not helpful has skyrocketed. And obviously meditation is not the only way to do this, but it's incredibly helpful. Like it's so helpful. So again, in the video, I will kind of talk you through like how to do this meditation, what apps you should use, whatever, stuff like that. So if you want the specific stuff for that, go there. But what I will tell you right here, right now, is that as someone who's meditated for almost 8 months at this point, I'm able to kind of sense my thoughts and think, oh, I'm thinking about this right now. Why am I doing this? Like I will stop myself and think, oh, why are you, I don't know, scrolling down to the YouTube comments? Why are you doing this? Like, what purpose does this action have? And I'll just stop. Now, does that happen every single time? No, it slips. But even if every 1 out of 100 times you realize that you're thinking and you stop yourself, that's better than 0 out of 100 times. It's not 0 to 1 thinking, it's 0 to 100. There are levels to this. So enough with that. The next you can do is to get into a flow state, which I should really make a video on. But essentially a flow state is a state of focus where you're completely immersed in a task. Well, it has to be challenging for you. So it can't be too hard, can't be too easy, it has to be challenging, it has to be very immersive, like your sense of time will be warped, like it'll feel really quick. You know, there's probably some activity that you have that does this, it can really be anything. But what is so helpful about the flow state is that the flow state naturally brings about clear thinking, like inherently. Everything feels very fluid and purposeful, like you just know what you're doing, just like that. For example, one flow state that I get into pretty often, because I do this a lot, is when I'm playing pretty much any kind of music, but especially on my guitar, because that's my most used instrument. When I'm doing that, when I'm practicing, or I am just, you know, jamming or soloing for fun, I really get into that flow. Like when I try to think about it, I cannot come up with the different melodies and rhythms and interval jumps that I like to include in my playing nearly as much as when I'm in the flow state. When I'm thinking about it, it just does not happen as naturally. When I'm in the flow state, everything just kind of feels perfect and I get the result that I want. Again, the flow state is really helpful, and you can kind of induce a flow state, kind of, but not exactly. Especially if you kind of like reduce the amount of distractions you have, it'll be a lot easier to get into a flow state for a lot of different activities. Like before, I would never get into a flow state while I was working on these videos. Now I get into one a lot, especially when recording, but also when editing. So there's that. Next up will be journaling for 2 reasons, actually. The first reason is that journaling helps you get your thoughts out of your mind. So when you journal, it gives you the ability to just get your thoughts out, just get them out. They're just gone. They don't have to sit in your mind anymore. It's kind of like scheduling, where once you get out of your mind, you don't have to think about it anymore. It's just gone. That's not your problem anymore. That's not your thing anymore. That's the journal's thing to deal with now. And I'm going to tell you right now, get a pen and paper, get a notebook to write in. Don't do it on a computer or your phone or something. Why? Because, well, it's been shown that writing helps you remember things better anyway, so it's better. And also, writing takes longer. So you're sitting with the feeling of what you're journaling for much longer than when you're typing. So you're typing, you can just type the words, whatever you're typing there. But when you're writing, you're thinking about each and every word. I mean, not necessarily, but, you know, you're thinking a lot more thoughtful when you're doing it. You're sitting with the thoughts a lot longer. Like, that's how, like, I've had journals I've had like single journal entries that are like 10 pages long. That's because I was so immersed in those thoughts that I was just writing and writing and writing it out. That will not happen as much if you're writing this on your phone or your laptop or whatever else you're doing. Maybe you could record it. That could be a good alternative if you prefer to speak, but pen and paper is very nice, and you can also look back on it later. So yeah, also that's something physical to bring with you forever. So that's cool. Second reason for journaling is because, again, it kind of induces that flow state as well, which I kind of just touched upon with this whole journaling thing, which I talked about, like sitting with thoughts. But again, that induces more clear and purposeful thinking because you're allowed to sit with the thoughts and articulate them. And next is purposeful thinking. Now, you might be asking, isn't what this whole video is about? But I'm talking about something very specific here. Now, this technically can come independently of meditation, but I would argue that it's kind of hard. You can try it, see if you can do it without meditating, but it's going to be hard. Just to start out, try this for like a few minutes. Just with every action you do, you will think to yourself, why am I doing this? What is the purpose of doing this? It sounds really simple, but it's really powerful. When you sit there and you think that, you are coming up with a specific reason for why you are doing this action. So like when you pick up your phone and you sit there and you ask yourself, why did I do this? that leads to you thinking so much more clearly. Because you have an expressed reason for doing what you're doing. And if there's not a reason, then stop. And if you know it's not a good reason, you're just giving an excuse, then stop. Like, for example, if I were to pick up my phone right now, like while I'm recording this right now, I just picked up my phone, I didn't ask myself why I was on my phone. I might get distracted. I might, like, look at my text or something. Might, like, scroll on the social media. I don't really have like, Instagram, but I don't really use it too much. But, like, I might scroll on Instagram or, like, check my email or something like that. But if I grab my phone and I ask myself, why did I do this? And I can't come up with an answer, or not even a good one, I'll put my phone down. And then the times when you do have a reason for doing something, you're not going to be distracted. You're going to have that reason. You're going to have that reason in your mind. So if I pick up my phone and I was specifically going to read some texts from one of my friends or something because we're going to meet up later today. And I grab my phone and I ask, why am I doing this? And I say, I'm going to check my text messages to look for any messages from my friend. Then I will just do that, and I can put my phone down, and that'll be it. I'll be done. So with that leads to so much, that just leads to such purposeful thinking, because you know exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it. And honestly, I think that this can be a powerful tool for even, like, breaking some kind of bad habit or addiction you might have. Hopefully it's a bad habit, not an addiction, but you never know how it is. So I think that all of these together will really result in really great decision making as well. But again, this will help with language learning because you'll be able to, like, eliminate all of the reasons that you know aren't really relevant. If one of your reasons for not learning a language that you really want to learn is, oh, not that many people speak it, well, that's not really a reason. You want to learn it. Go ahead and learn it. Or something like, oh, it'll take too long. You know that's an excuse. This will lead to such clear thinking. It'll be able to help you really make these important decisions so much more easily and so much more quickly. So that way you don't have to spend, like, months before you actually start because you were caught up in thinking, like has happened to me in the past. So I hope this video was helpful. If you made it to the end here, again, I want to mention I'm going to start selling some coaching services. So if you want to do that for Tokipona, polyglottism, or polymathy, some advice for that, you can go check the link in the description. Should be there. Again, currently I will only be taking 3 clients, but maybe I will add more, but then the price might go up. So just check if you really want to do that. So no promises that the price will go up. So maybe it will stay the same, but also no promises that I'll be adding more people either, because I just want to see how my schedule is. And if it's more free than initially expected, then sure, I might open up some more, because who doesn't like money? But otherwise, I'm just going to restrict it to 3 for each area of helping. Because first off, I get to help people, I get to feel good. Second off, I get to make money. Who doesn't like money? And third off, I can also come up with more ideas for the channel and kind of expand on those, and then it helps grow the channel, which means more clients in the future. So that's a self-fulfilling thing. So that'd be pretty cool. Just check it out in the description. I'm sorry this felt like an ad read because this is new, so I'm just kind of have to get used to kind of like advertising this. Eventually it'll just be like 10 seconds to just go in the description, but for now I'm kind of still explaining it to you because it's new, so sorry about that. But with that, I guess we are done here. Again, there'll be that companion video, like how to actually decide and what can help you decide what languages you want to learn, or what language you want to learn. So stay tuned for that, I guess. So with that, tell your dogs to die.